Well, welcome in one and all to another edition of the Cory Sanding Show. I'm your host, yours truly, and coming at you on a Sunday afternoon. It's about, evening for some of you. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon over here as my dog continues to whine at the door because she wants in because mom's not here, but we'll see how that gets her. But again, thank you all for tuning in. We're going live now on YouTube and on Facebook as well. Thank you for tuning in. I know I've been a bit absent for the past week, but forgive me. I worked 6 days at the day job, as well as been dealing with a bit of a sinus infection for the past few days, or past week, really. That's really had me a little bit under the weather. But we're Dayquil and NyQuilling it up over here, and we're getting a little bit through it, hanging on some caffeine as well. First and foremost, before we get into the show, because we got a lot of topics to cover today, just want to go into today's sponsor, which is actually a new sponsor of the show. It is the Flex Series Shaving Kit by Freebird. Now, for those of you like me who like to keep the body a little clean, a little show off the muscles a little bit, this is the perfect thing for you. It's an electric rotary shaver that's actually designed initially for your head, but the blade works just as great on the body. It leaves no nicks and cuts, whether that's in your intimate areas or not. You can get a smooth, clean shave with this, and you get a free, not free, but you get a blade refill every 8 weeks to replenish the tarnishing blades. So check them out, freebird.com. Giving you a deal right now, $60 off the Flex Series Shaving Kit, which comes with the rotary heads, clippers, as well as guards, a nose and ears hair trimmer, as well as an exfoliating and scalp brush that actually helps exfoliate the body a bit as well. So check them out. Be sure not to leave off the charging dock and tell them Cory sent you. But a lot of topics to dive into with the show today. We're going to be getting into what's the news that's been going over Knoxville the past week. Is the Tennessee Athletics officially making the switch back to Adidas next year to be its primary apparel provider. 10-year contract. We'll get into the details of that in a minute. And as well as Bengals now fielding, or at least listening to offers on Trey Hendrickson, defensive end Trey Hendrickson, as the contract talks are now at an impasse. Hendrickson obviously wants his bag after two straight 17.5 sack seasons. Bengals brass and ownership are not don't seem to be too willing to pay him what he feels he's worth. And then we'll close out the show with a reaction to Michigan dropping, or the NCAA dropping the gauntlet, so to speak, on Jim Harbaugh and Connor Stallions. I mean, we'll see how much Jim Harbaugh is really thinking about that right now, as well as some other quick takes, and we'll get into the Ravens kicker situation as well. So getting into the first topic of the show today, Tennessee officially making the shift back to Adidas in 2026. This is after about an 11-year run, I believe, with Nike that saw Tennessee go back to, initiate some changes in the Butch Jones era, go back to its roots, so to speak, in the short-lived Jeremy Pruitt days, and then take it up a notch when Josh Heupel came in. And obviously Tennessee has had some of the best uniforms in college football over the past 3 to 4 years, particularly once the all-black uniforms came in and they started making slight, subtle changes to the smoky grays each year. We saw the one that came out this year with the poses at the Air Force Base down in Alcoa. But going back to Adidas, was this the wrong move? I mean, we're just going to go ahead and get into the letter that athletic director Danny White sent out. I mean, obviously, we all got this in our email. Greetings from Rocky Top. I wanted to share some exciting news. After a thorough process of exploring our options for apparel and footwear, we've decided to partner with Adidas starting on July 1st, 2026. Adidas has recognized our athletics department as one of the premier brands in the collegiate space, prioritizing our partnership within college sports. While we have appreciated our previous collaboration with Nike, transitioning to Adidas offers us the best opportunities for success in the evolving landscape of college athletics. We'll debate whether that's true or not. According to our last agreement with Nike, they had the chance to counter any offers we received or match, but they chose not to. The partnership will give us a significant advantage in the ever-evolving world of college sports and is one of the best apparel deals in college sports history, i.e., it was about the money. Reportedly, Nike's deal with Tennessee was paying them a little over $5 million a year. This deal is going to jump that all the way up to $20 million a year for the next 10 years just for the apparel. And it's been reported that Adidas is going to make Tennessee its Oregon, so to speak, as Nike does with Oregon, giving them practically a new uniform every single game. So Do I agree wholeheartedly with his Danny White's evaluation of this being a significant advantage in the ever evolving world of college sports? Maybe in the fact that you may be able to, have some more money to pay the players once it transitions to the athletic departments and those entities actually paying players rather than just the NIL brand deals. But overall, Nike did what I would have done if I was a Nike executive. We don't have to. I mean, of course, if they felt Tennessee was worth it, they probably, if they were in Ohio State or a Georgia, well, hell, even Georgia's not in the top 5, I believe, in terms of sports contracts, in terms of the apparel, but they don't need to. The brand speaks for themselves. It's Nike. It's a swoosh. Hopefully this won't sway recruits to not sign with Tennessee because of them, Nike moving away from Nike now. But I mean, you keep going on. Vol Nation is our differentiator, making us one of the elite brands in the nation. True. We lead the country in combined attendance for football, men's and women's basketball, and are the #1 CLC school nationally. College sports. True. But basically, he goes on to admit that this is all about the money. We will continue to maintain our strong, closes out saying, we will continue to maintain our strong partnership with Nike until July 1st, 2026. And I have it down there. It was just the wrong move. I've come around on it a little bit. When I first heard the news, I was disappointed. I'm a big Nike guy. Those of you that know me, it's my favorite brand by far. I loved what Nike did with Tennessee uniforms, particularly once Josh Heupel and his staff arrived. The black is just incredible. The smoky grays have been very good. Obviously, some of the alterations to the orange, the alterations to the helmet, finally bringing the all black helmet. I hope Adidas doesn't get away from that. I mean, of course, in all the old heads, I don't blame you coming in. Well, who did Tennessee have when they won their last championship, which was eons ago? Adidas, yeah. But back then, things were a lot different in terms of apparel. Didn't really, I mean, college athletes were getting paid under the table secretively. But I mean, they weren't coming to schools based on brand marketing deals, how much money they can make. Look at Tennessee lost its quarterback this offseason because of that. Not that he's making any more money because he wrote a check. His family wrote a check that he can't cash. Speaking of Nico Iamaleava, but Adidas is not a powerhouse brand in the world of athletics at all anymore. Really, never really have been for football. I mean, yeah, Tennessee back when they were, consistently in the top 5, top 10, top 15. Still, people didn't go, I'm going to Tennessee because of Adidas. Adidas is for second-rate programs, if we're being quite frank, being honest. And I know I saw all the posts on X, Twitter, Facebook. Oh, I look at all these grown men complaining about. Get the hell out of here with that. It's sports. It's what we do. It makes it fun. Get over it. We're going to complain about what we want to complain about. We could all agree to not compare players, not debate which team's better, who should have won this game, who should have won that. It doesn't make it any fun. Same thing here. It makes this no fun if we sit here and say, oh my God, just let it roll off because Adidas, we're about to get into some of the uniforms from Adidas in the late 2010s that are in the late 2000 or the early 2010s, late 2000s that Tennessee had. And I'm telling you, some of these uniforms were just dog ugly. I mean, they couldn't even look at it. They couldn't even get the smoky gray uniforms right. I don't know. If you ask me, that looks like a uniform that I would buy for my kids' team at Dollar General or Walmart. If we're going to get into the nitty-gritty, nitpicky detail of it, they couldn't even get the smoky gray right. Granted, I mean, they didn't make the helmets, so that wasn't the influence on them. But I'm sorry, but with the white accents, I just don't. I can't get down with that. I can't get down with it whatsoever. It just looks like a chintzy, cheap, second-rate uniform. I mean, we can even And we can even get into the home uniforms. Granted that like these aren't bad. These basically look like the Nikes, the uniforms. They just have the Adidas logo. Those aren't bad. I didn't mind those at all. But like when you even switching over to basketball, come on now. Some people say, "Oh, that's not that bad, Cory." Look at what Nike did with Tennessee basketball too. Those uniforms. I can't remember Tennessee basketball jerseys selling so well or selling as well as they had since they switched to Nike and Rick Barnes came along. This was obviously from the late 2000s, the Bruce Pearl days. Obviously, we recognize that as Bobby Mays. They just didn't do that for me. And nowadays, in college sports, with NIL and with more money flowing in than ever, your brand is everything. Your image is everything. And even though Tennessee was a playoff team last year, arguably in 2022, they were one of the best teams in the nation. If it wasn't for a porous defense to end the year and an unfortunate injury to Hendon Hooker, they could have made the 4-team playoff. They should have, but things happen. That year, Tennessee was on the map nationally for the uniforms. The Smoky Grays were hot. The home uniforms, this is the mix of classic Tennessee with new age flair with the Nike with the swoosh. The black uniforms, especially once they don the all black helmet too. It's turned Tennessee back into a spectacle, to something, to a brand that people need to watch. And what's happened since then? They won the national championship in baseball and have been one of the top programs for the past 3 to 5 years. Men's and women's basketball, prominent as well. Tennessee has been in the Elite Eight the past 2 years, and arguably, aside from last year when they just got trounced by Houston, I should say, had a Final Four contending roster. 2019, same thing, basketball-wise. The throwback uniforms were hot. Everyone buys the new Pegasus trainers that come out every year, even though they're overpriced and they're a little bit too orange sometimes for I love my orange, don't get me wrong, but I'm more of a objective dark color kind of guy. But this notion that you got to say what you have to say, but this notion that Adidas is going to give Tennessee a recruiting advantage and whatnot, it could maybe, in terms of how much money they've got in their pockets to pay the players. But other than that, I don't see any benefit from switching back to Adidas. But I'm not an executive at Tennessee. That's far above my pay grade. I love my school to death, and I love them dearly and want nothing more for them to succeed in football, because Lord knows it's been a long time since they had a consistent winner. But I don't know. What remains to be seen. Let me know in the comments what you all think. And for those of you that are just now tuning in, if you're tuning in on the YouTube side, if you're on Facebook right now, be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell button in particular. It's more important than ever now to get notified of when I'm dropping my live content. We're going to be getting into a little bit of schedule changes for football season here at the end of the show, so we can get ready and get on a consistent roll with the season coming and with a bunch of content on the horizon. But we're going to get into the next topic of the show now. I think I've spent a little, probably too much time talking about the Adidas, complaining about it. Sound like I'm 10 years old all over again, but I'm sorry. I see you all in the chat here that have left some comments. I'm not with the Adidas either. I'm just going to leave it at that. But next topic of the show, as we've heard all offseason long, Cincinnati defensive end Trey Hendrickson has been in an impasse with the Bengals over his contract situation. Hendrickson, the last two seasons, has registered 17.5 sacks. He's been the lone bright point on an otherwise god-awful defensive unit that gave up. I don't even have the numbers in front of me right now, but it seemed like every time I watched them, they were giving up 30-plus a game. Hence the 2 losses to the Ravens this year. Couldn't hold leads, couldn't trust them to step up in the biggest moments. And now they're one bright spot, albeit not a great run defender, albeit on the other side of 30. Once his payday, he's seen Myles Garrett get paid, he's seen Max Crosby get paid, and he's seen TJ Watt get paid, and he's like, hey, I've been as good as these guys the last 2 years. Whether that's debatable or not, the numbers speak so in terms of sacks. One-dimensional player, he can rush the passer, but he's worth his payday, and he's on the other side of 30. This is his last big payday. You want to set your family up for long-term success, wealth planning, I guess, so to speak. Pardon me again. I told you I've had a sinus infection the past 7 days. But, as much as I hate to say it, I'm on his side. Trey Hendrickson has given the Ravens offensive line some fits in the past few years. Trey Hendrickson consistently gets to the quarterback. Trey Hendrickson, 17.5 sacks in back-to-back seasons. What can you say about that? Like I said, could he be better in the run defense? Yeah. But if you're Cincinnati, where are you going to go getting rid of this guy? Your defense is bad without him. How's your defense going to be with him, how's your defense going to be any good without him? That's my biggest question. But then again, we're talking about an organization that's known for being inept and known for being cheap. They probably have to cheat the people of Hamilton County out of another, I don't know how many millions of tax dollars to be able to afford to pay Trey Hendrickson, along with what they just paid Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, even though it's somewhat of a fluky 1-year deal that's only not guaranteed after that. And then obviously with Joe Burrow before that, who you can't get rid of because top 4 quarterback in the NFL. But I'm on Trey's side here. I've outspoken about the Bengals organization, and I have a healthy disdain for them, but not based on just the fandom situation that you'd think, but the Brown family just certainly doesn't capitalize on what they should try to capitalize on, given they do have a pretty dedicated fan base for being in the Southwest Ohio area that's mostly dominated by Ohio State football and the Cincinnati Reds. They gave them hope, with that Super Bowl run 4 years ago. AFC Championship the next year, but then Cincinnati has done what it always does, which is not pay players just because they're too damn cheap, and it's a mom and pop shop and they just don't have the money. Honestly, I don't think the Bengals will ever be a winner in anyone's eyes, let alone, with banners in the stadium, which they have none of, until the Brown family sells the team and they get someone in there that would be willing to spend the money to build a winner rather than, I just want to save money. Look how long it took them to sign Shamar Stewart. It was rumored. He was, instead of training with his teammates at camp or mandatory mini camp, whatever it was, I believe he was back in his college roots. He could have gone back to the draft. Now, granted, no one's passing up that money, but he could have sat out a year and not played because they weren't willing to guarantee the money. What I mean by that is they wanted to include a clause that had never been included in a rookie contract before, where if he was to, get in trouble in year 1, that would void all of his guaranteed money for their next 3 or 4 years of his contract after that, which is ridiculous. It makes no sense to me, but eventually they caved. They caved because they looked like a bunch of clowns, which they always do. Whenever the Bengals get to the Super Bowl, I just say, wait on it. Just wait on it. They're going to find a way to screw it up. They don't have a great coaching staff. They don't have a great coach. That team has survived strictly based on the quarterback and the receivers, much like it did in the mid to late 2000s. In the late 80s, it was Boomer Esiason and Nicky Woods. Before that, it was Ken Anderson. So, squander away Joe Burrow's career. As a Ravens fan, that is completely fine with me. That is fine by me. One less problem that the Ravens have to deal with, because they have to deal with themselves when it comes to the postseason anyway. Fine by me if the Bengals aren't in it for a 3rd year in a row, which I think very, very well could be the case, given how bad that defense looked last year. And who knows if they're going to have their one lone bright spot on defense this year. I would not be surprised whatsoever if that ends up being the case. And they'll only have themselves to blame for it. And I know, I'm the biggest Bengals hater on the internet, and I am proud to have that title. But objectively speaking, this is just how they operate. And it's one reason why it's hard to get behind them even when they are succeeding. Excuse me. It nauseated the living hell out of me to watch Mike Brown hold up that Lamar Hunt trophy. I mean, not only was I at a bar where working an event, I was not drinking, where there were Bengals fans sitting there and I was trash talking to them the whole time. It was 21-3 and they got the last laugh. Oh, that was the worst feeling in the world. Man, the only thing that would have topped it is if they would have built on that lead they built in the third quarter over the Rams in that Super Bowl, thanks to a blatant face mask by T. Higgins on Jalen Ramsey. But we won't go there. We won't go there. But overall, I think he'll be moved? It's just so hard to see because you could get some assets in return for him, maybe some picks. I mean, I just don't see where else you can go. Logically, from a football standpoint, your defense is going to be as bad enough as it is. Are you going to get a game changer for him at 31 years old on defense, or someone that's going to change the life of they're short at linebacker because of the Jermaine Pratt situation. Shamar Stewart's a project. He's got upside potential, but upside and potential don't pay the bills in the NFL. Execution and reliancy does. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, as reported by here, let me bring up tweet by Ian Rappaport. With contract talks at an impasse, the Bengals are listening to trade offers for perennial Pro Bowler Trey Hendrickson per me and Tom Pelissero. It's unclear if the NFL sack leader will be playing elsewhere in 2025, and a trade will be a real challenge, but time will tell. Like I just said, trade will be a real challenge because what could they realistically get for him? Maybe if this was 2 to 3 years ago and Trey Hendrickson was 28 or 29 even, but he's on the wrong side of 30. And this is a peculiar season or peculiar time of the year with the season starting in 3 weeks, or 3 weeks from today is the first Sunday of the NFL season. So less than 3 weeks from today, the NFL season starts. Thank God. My fiance is not going to love me on the weekends now because I'm going to be hogging the TV because finally caved. Well, I guess I shouldn't say finally caved, but who's got their Sunday ticket ready? Your boy does. And you can bet your ass that I'm going to be in front of it watching 4 games on my big screen every single Sunday until February because the Ravens are going to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And we're going to get into the predictions later on. But those of you that don't have your Sunday ticket, they've got a great deal going on right now. You can pay it for as little as $24 a month. Obviously, I'd pay it off quicker than that just because I'm, a stickler for getting bills paid off in time. But sign up while it lasts. You don't want to miss out on that deal. Can't beat it. Beats trying to stream it through Reddit. And who is oh Lord have mercy. I love getting just random texts on my phone when I'm in the middle of the show. Thankfully, it's nothing important. All right. Getting into the next topic. I don't think okay, so as many of you saw, the NCAA dropped the gauntlet, so to speak, whether you want to believe that or not, on former Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh and staffer Connor Stalions. Bring up the USA Today article just so we have a little bit more of a context here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you just so we can examine it together. Los Angeles Charger and Harbaugh responded, obviously, to the sanctions. Head coach Jim Harbaugh didn't have much to say a day after the NCAA announced Michigan's sign steal punishment. Following the Chargers' preseason matchup with the LA Rams, Harbaugh was asked about the punishment and his reaction. He declined to entertain the questions, much like he has since he left. Like I said to you last year, not engaging. Pardon me, I've got a dry throat. The NCAA fined Michigan $50,000 in addition to 10% of the football program's budget. Handed Michigan head coach Sharon Moore a two-year show cause order and suspended him the first game of the 2026 season and put Michigan on 4 years probation. They announced on August 15th. They had already self-imposed 2-game suspension for Moore for the 2025 season. And obviously, there's going to cost them, well, if I can hold it steady here, the 10% of the cost of the scholarships awarded in the football program during the 2026 academic year, losing revenue from that. The total of fines is expected to exceed $20 million, but the NCAA gave Harbaugh a 10-year show cause, which means he is forbidden from coaching in college sports for 10 years, which I doubt he's going to go back anyway, given the fact that he has a job with the Chargers. And they gave him an 8-year show cause penalty to Connor Stallions, who obviously was the Michigan staffer, most notably remembered for, I'm going to pull up the picture right here, being on a sideline in disguise at a central Michigan sideline, which I don't know what Michigan could play a team full of freshmen and probably still stomp Central Michigan. So this to this day, I still laugh about that whole ordeal, just because if you're going to steal signs from anybody, I don't think Central Michigan would be the go-to program, but they did. And that's why we're here where we are. And my question down, I'll post this to the chat, to those of you in the chat as well. Is Michigan's title tainted? I think I jokingly said for a long time there that the title would eventually be vacated just because of the whole sign stealing scandal. Clearly, that was not the case, as the title still stands and they didn't have to vacate any victories. I think it would have been a little harsh given, what happened, because, in the NFL, sign stealing happens all the time. You're trying to gain any competitive edge you can, but the NCAA is a crooked organization ran by a bunch of crooks, and so that's their rules, and Harbaugh broke them. Do I think Michigan was clearing away still the best team in college football that year? Yeah. As painful as that is to say, because even though I'm no Ohio State fan, Michigan fans can be nauseating, but I think every fan base can be at times. Tennessee fans, I know sure as hell we can. We've been riding the wave since '98, and that thing's still somehow going just a tad bit, but it's still going. But overall, I think, given the environment that surrounded that Michigan team for so long under Harbaugh, that they couldn't get it done in the biggest moments, because they didn't for a long time. They couldn't beat Ohio State. They couldn't really win the bowl games. They couldn't get to the championship game. There was this monkey on Harbaugh's back that he couldn't get it done. And then when he finally did get it done, it's tainted by cheating scandals, as you can say. I mean, that's the only way to really put it. And now he's moved on. He's back in the NFL with the Chargers. Had a pretty successful first season. We'll see how they continue to develop Justin Herbert, because it's time that Justin Herbert actually won something. Actually did something in the postseason, or got his team to the postseason consistently. But I don't know. To say a tainted title I guess we'd have to really, really decipher if it really changed the product on the field, and I don't think it did. I mean, did Michigan win the championship because Connor Stallions was on the Central Michigan sideline? No. I mean, obviously there was a list of games they went to, or sent scouts to observe signs, which I think even included Tennessee in 2022 when they were high flying offense with Hendon Hooker and Jalen Hyatt and the crew. But other than that, objectively speaking, it's hard to sit here and say that Michigan's title's tainted when they were the best team in college football. It'd be like going back and saying the '96 Bulls title was tainted because, Michael went to Atlantic City, or he was smoking cigars and drinking cognac after games. I mean, really? When you get it done, you get it done. And the only time, do people still hold? Some people do. I know this, so I'm not oblivious to that. But do the masses and the general public still hold Spygate and Deflategate over Tom Brady's head? No, he's unanimously viewed as the GOAT. 7 Super Bowl rings, regardless of deflating footballs or inflating footballs, or Bill Belichick being, the mastermind of a huge cheating scandal in Spygate, which he was. But I mean, what competitive edge did it give them? They didn't win the Super Bowl that year. They didn't win a Super Bowl for over 10 years. And I honestly thought Tom Brady was done after 3. How stupid he made me look after that. Lord have mercy. I'm glad that a lot of people that know me now did not know me then when I said that. I believe it was the year the Ravens won the Super Bowl in 12-13. He just hadn't gotten it done in so long, and there seemed like to be other teams on the come up. I'm like, yeah, Brady's done winning Super Bowls. 3 was a lot. 3's a lot to win, you'd think. And now Patrick Mahomes has come along and won 3 in his first 9 years. It's impressive. And he's been to 5. Or is it 8 years? I don't know. We're going to have a huge NFL preview show coming up soon, though. We'll be having guests on the show. This is a little stuff we'll get into in just a second, actually. We're going to get into a little, as those unapologetically, I'm a Ravens fan, and I will be to the day I die. The Ravens have officially named rookie Tyler Loop, the starting kicker, replacing Justin Tucker after he was released on a football decision. We all know it wasn't completely a football decision. After all the allegations that were revealed in the Baltimore Banner of him being inappropriate with massage therapists around the Baltimore area from 2012 to 2016. Tyler Loop was named the starting kicker by Coach John Harbaugh after he drilled 5 of 6 field goals last game against Dallas. Let me share my screen real quick as we get into the nitty-gritty details of it. We'll just read it. This is from Jamison Hensley of ESPN, the terrific Ravens reporter. Baltimore Ravens rookie kicker Tyler Loop is officially the successor to Justin Tucker. We all knew it. It was only a matter of time. He'll be the kicker, Ravens coach John Harbaugh said after Saturday night's 31-13 preseason win over the Cowboys in Dallas. He's earned it. Harbaugh's announcement came after an impressive performance by Loop. He made 5 of 6 field goals, so I was right. Hold me to it. On Saturday, including ones from 51 and 53 yards. When told that Harbaugh named him the Ravens kicker, Loop told reporters in Dallas, "That's fun." As you know, though, they selected Loop in the 6th round this year when Tucker was still on the team. He's actually the first kicker to be drafted in the franchise's 30-year history. I'm lifting words from the article, obviously, because Justin Tucker was actually an undrafted rookie from Texas. A lot of you don't remember that. You go on to think of him being as the most accurate, perhaps the greatest kicker in NFL history. He was an unproven commodity that year after Billy Cundiff had sunk all of our hearts in Baltimore when he missed that field goal to tie the game against the Patriots. But I've got faith. I've got faith that he can get it done, only simply because what other choice do I have? It was bound to happen sooner than later, and Justin Tucker, quite frankly, wasn't the Justin Tucker of old last year, and I think that's putting it nicely. He cost the Ravens more games than he won them, and it was the worst year of his career. Man, did the allegations have something to do with it? Yeah, probably, somewhat. But ultimately, I mean, given the fact that those ended around the 2016-17 allegedly ended then, his play just deteriorated to a point where he was expendable. And obviously, the certainty of getting past the 40-yard line and having 3 points in hand is no longer there. But given the fact that Tyler Loop has had an impressive camp and had an impressive performance and hit 51 and 53 yarders, I mean, there's reason for optimism post Justin Tucker. We knew this time was coming. It was inevitable. Sometime in the near future, Justin Tucker was no longer going to be in the NFL or no longer going to be a Raven. And obviously the latter happened before the former, but I'm encouraged. I think there's reason to be optimistic for Baltimore fans. I think Tyler Loop will end up being a good kicker in the NFL. Can I sit here and say he's going to be the next Justin Tucker? No, because that's going to be damn hard to do. Because Justin Tucker, for the longest time, was the most automatic weapon in football outside of Derrick Henry at the 1-yard line or Marshawn Lynch. Seahawks, you know what I'm talking about. But real quickly to wrap up the show, upcoming show schedule changes. I'm going to be announcing them in the next week. Had a lot going on over the past few weeks trying to get stuff ready for the NFL season, which is when we're going to really start grounding and pounding and being consistent with this thing. We're going to be having guests. It's not just going to be me sitting here rambling. We're going to be introducing new segments, new styles of content. I've got new equipment on the way. You're going to be able to support the channel financially if you choose to do so. Please, just if you do care, go to YouTube, subscribe, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Click the bell button so you get notified, because we're going to be doing wall-to-wall football on the weekends. We're going to be going live Saturday night. We're going to be going live Sunday evening. We'll be reacting on Monday, and we'll probably trim some of the the Wednesday and Friday shows out. Might do a break midweek. We'll see. But football season's it's my favorite time of the year now. And I used to be I still am a big basketball fan. I still love to play basketball. I still love to compete. I play some golf, but not that good at it. But football is, when you move to the South and you experience what football is like in a place like this, even though the Ravens are not in East Tennessee, and I love my Vols, I bleed orange. There's nothing like watching a football game. There's nothing like a 17-game regular season where one game could mean a lot as compared to an 82-game regular season, or 100 and something with baseball. And the Orioles haven't been good in I don't know how long, so I have no reason to cheer there. But keep an eye out. We're going to be much more active on social media. We've got new partnerships to announce that I'm blessed, even though we're just getting started and just building something over here at Sanding Media LLC, which has been official for more than a month now, but I can go on and announce it. We're going to have a lot more topics too. We're going to be getting into fitness challenges. We're going to be getting into fitness topics because, as you see, you can't see the whole thing up there, but I do have my strength and conditioning coach certification. Fitness is my passion outside of sports. It's my passion that really drove me into loving sports. And we're going to be getting into some men's mental health issues, topics. A lot of things are set to come here in the next few weeks, especially with football season starting. And I'm really looking forward to bringing them to you. Please interact with the channel. Interact with me on social media. You can follow me on Instagram, X, Twitter, at Cory Sanning. You can find me on Facebook, my full name, Cory Darren Barry Sanning, which I am unashamed to share. And follow the show's accounts as well. You see them scrolling across the ticker at the bottom. But thank you for tuning in to the show today. Hope you all have a great start to the week. I'm finally starting to get over this sinus infection, which comes at the change of every season, even though the weather's still very warm here in East Tennessee. It always comes in these date ranges. We got a Labor Day weekend coming up soon. It's crazy to think summer's almost over with already, but hey, just more bonfire weather, and it stays warm here in East Tennessee, where you can keep pools open until October if you choose to do so. So keep that in mind. But tune in. We'll be here tomorrow. We'll be doing a show, and we'll be doing our obviously, we'll be making season bets. We'll be making season predictions. I got to get some of my friends on here that have been begging me to come on the show. We'll see what they like to say. And other than that, hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll catch you here tomorrow for another start to the new week. And stay blessed. Thank you for tuning in.